Welcome back, guys. This is going to be episode 5 of the Goodbye Windows, Hello Manjaro series. And today we're going to talk about installing your printer within Manjaro. Now, as I've said many times, Manjaro makes things pretty easy. However, you do have to do a little bit of homework up front. So my suggestions to you before I get into the actual install, showing the process of installing my particular printer, I will give you some information to help you do some homework up front so you can be prepared to install your printer. Now, there are many different printer manufacturers. I'm going to go over the major ones. My printer is made by Brother. Brother makes a fine printer. They all make a fine printer. But in this particular case, I'll show you the process to identify which driver. Now, the first thing you should do is you need to know the model number of your printer. So in my case, it's MFC-J870DW. And that is it's a combination Brother printer fax. So if I look at inkjet fax and I know it's MFC, then I know it's MFCJ. And it's MFCJ870, so it's the J8 series. And it's the MFCJ870DW. As you can see up top, it has a choice: Windows, Mac, Linux, Mobile. The Linux version of the drivers is what I want. However, as I said, Manjaro makes things pretty easy, so I'm not going to have to download from this website. The first thing you should do is check with your manufacturer's website to see if they provide drivers. More than likely they do. Let's go over the top manufacturers. I just went over Brother. Epson has a Linux, as you can see, operating system Linux. You enter your product name and it will pull up the drivers. HP has a system called HPLIP that supports 2,563 HP printer models within Linux. HP is well supported. Canon also has drivers for Linux. I would also suggest going to if you do a search on Manjaro Linux printer install, you will find a lot of information. If you're having trouble finding your particular model, go through these links here on the Google search page, and they'll bring up information for you. You may find, for example, on the Manjaro forum, you may find someone who has your identical printer and who may have put up a question on the forum and had it answered, and that answer would be available to you. So don't reinvent the wheel. If you can't find what you're looking for, head over to the Manjaro forums. More than likely, and when you install Manjaro, register on the forum, because you're going to have a lot of questions, and those questions can be answered most quickly by the folks at the Manjaro forum. Those are the users. They're people just like you who use Manjaro on a daily basis, and they'll be able to help you. They'll be more than happy to help you. They have a wonderful community on the Manjaro forum. And then, because Manjaro runs Arch Linux, you'll also want to do a search on Arch Linux printer install, and there's a lot of information how to install and configure HP printer. Now, more than likely, if you can't find specifics in Manjaro, take a look at the Arch wikis. Take a look at the Arch information. More than likely it will be applicable to Manjaro. So the first thing, and this applies to many topics within Linux, Google is your absolute best friend, and sometimes you need to do the research on your own and figure it out. Sometimes that's what it takes. Now, that being said, Manjaro is one of the easiest Linux distributions to get everything working. I'm going to go through the process now on how I would get my printer working. So let's minimize that and let's go to my menu and let's do a search. Print settings. Now when you configure your printer, there are two ways of doing it. One is through the CUPS web interface. I'm not a big fan of the CUPS web interface. However, I have used it and I have added my Wi-Fi printer using it. So if I go to adding printers and classes, you can see that it will get the job done, but it's not always as intuitive as the other option. The other option is print settings. Now as you can see, I have my Brother MFC J870DW already set up. It's a network printer. It's configured, and any user on my system can use it. And I'm going to show you the process. It's very easy. So don't let this put you off. It's very easy, but it just takes us step by step. So the first thing you want to do, you need to, if you have a Wi-Fi printer, you'll need to know the IP address. And I'll go through that with you. These are the instructions for installing my particular printer. Now, you'll see a command here, sudo pacman -S space cups manjaro printer. That's there because that would be necessary if Manjaro had not done that for you. They did that. But I would recommend, rather than take anything for granted, open up a terminal and go through these steps one by one. The first three steps apply to, actually the first four steps apply to everybody, no matter what type of printer you have. Okay? The first thing you want to do is make sure Cups and Manjaro printer is installed. So we're going to copy that and paste. Put in your password. And as you can see, it says reinstalling. There's no need for me to do that. See, reinstalling, so it's already installed. But you would do that just to make sure. If it's already installed and you see reinstalling, where it says proceed with installation, just say no, because you already have that. The next step is to enable the printing service on your computer. So you're going to copy this first, and I'll separate those. And I'll make this available to you. So you're going to copy that first command just to make sure that printing is enabled on your system. You're going to copy that in, hit enter. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to go to the next prompt. Now you're going to start the printer service. And it's very easy, just copy and paste. Done. So now I know my computer has printing service enabled and started. Now, the next command again is redundant. However, it's always a good idea to check. So copy and paste, and if it says reinstalling, then you can say no because you already have it. If not, you would install it. Okay, so I mentioned that my printer model is MFC J870DW. I've got a note here that says search in yaourt for the file. If I already know what my information is, but if you don't, you're going to do a search in yaourt. And you're going to put in your model name. So if, for example, all you know is I know from the box or from the machine itself, it has the model number, let me see what's going on. Well, as you can see, yaourt has the LPRN cups driver for the brother printer that I have. More than likely, when you put in your model of your printer and you do a search, you're going to find a driver available. This driver is already installed, as you can see. But that's how easy it is to locate and identify your driver within yaourt. I'm not going to install it again because it's already installed. So I just hit enter to escape out of that. But let's go through the process of installing. I am going to reinstall and go through the entire process with you. And as you install, as you go through the 3 steps involved, then what you're going to do, I'm going to, for the sake of argument and to help you guys, I'm going to delete this printer. So I'm going to unlock. See up in the top right, you have to unlock that. It is locked so that it can't be contaminated or changed inadvertently. So now that I've unlocked it, I'm going to delete this printer. Okay, the printer is gone. I have no printers configured. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my driver and install it. So let's do that search again. And I am going to install package number 1. With yaourt, you identify the package number and then press enter. So it's going to go through the process. I don't want to edit anything. I do want to continue building. So it's going to go through the process of installing the drivers for the printer. When it asks to continue installing, yes. Just hit enter. Yes is the default. Proceed with installation. As you can see in the little box, the default is capitalized so that if you just press enter, it's going to go to the default, which is yes. So now my printer is installed. It reinstalled the drivers. The next thing I want to do is load the scanning drivers, and that's brscan 4. And again, I got that information through the brother website. And all you have to do is do a search, a Google search on your printer model number, Linux scanning or scan driver. And it'll give you some information on that. Now, when I was installing for the first time and I didn't know a heck of a lot about Manjaro, I got a lot of this information from the folks over at the forum. So make sure that that is the first or second stop when you're looking for information. So as you can see, I am going to install brscan 4. It's going to go through the same process. No to edit. Now, as you can see here, yes is capitalized. If I just hit enter, it's going to think that I want to edit the package build somehow. So you're gonna press N. You're gonna press N for edit. continue building, just press enter because yes is the default. Yes is the default. Okay, so now it's installed. Now, if you were installing from the without it being installed already, if this was not already installed, and let's see, I think what I'll do, guys, I'm gonna remove the drivers and start from scratch because I want you to see a couple of things. So let's do R, and it's gonna be brother MFC J870DW, and I'm gonna remove also brscan4. So I'm going to remove those and reinstall. So let's go back. I want you to see a couple things. I'm going to search for my printer driver. Now it doesn't say it's installed, so I'm going to install it. So let's watch this go through. Now it's going to be the same as it was before, and it'll install fairly easily. Now we're going to install brscan4. Now when it's not installed, it's more than likely going to give me some information at the end of the install. No edit, no edit, continue, continue, yes. Okay, this is what I wanted you to see. See, at the end of the install it says, for a network installation, run the following as root. And then it gives you a command. You will need to run that, and I'm going to show you how to configure. You see how it says, it gives you the syntax for the command. brsane config4 space dash lowercase a space name equals and it wants the word brother, and it wants model equals, and then your model here, and then the IP and your scanner IP here. Now, all that means is you need to put in your model number and your printer IP address. Okay, this is mine right here. I'm going to copy and paste that in. That's the kind of information it'll give you when you do the install of your drivers. So read the screen, see what it says, especially if you have a Wi-Fi network printer like I do. So as you can see, I copied in sudo because you have to do this as root. And then I have what's in this sentence here, this command. brsane config4 space dash lowercase a space name equals brother model equals mfcj870dw space and then the IP address. Now I know the IP address because I went into the web page for my scanner. So if you know your scanner is on 192.168.1.1, if you plug that, and I'll show you, if you go into Google and type in the IP address, as you can see, I've done it many times. So this is a common IP address for your router. What you'll do is you will type in the IP address and hit enter, and more than likely it's going to bring up your printer, your router. And what you want to do is click on attach devices, whatever that relates to. As far as I have a Netgear router, but go to your attached devices. You see I have 14 devices throughout the house connected to this router. Write down the IP address for your printer. That's what you need. Once you have the IP address for your printer, and you'll get that from your router page, then you will enter this command and put in that IP address, which mine happens to be 192.168.1.7. So once I have this command configured just the way it's telling me, then I'll hit enter. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to configure your scanner for that IP address. So now you've followed everything in my instructions here. You've got your drivers loaded. You've got your scanner installed. Now you're going to go to your menu. You're going to go to print settings, and you're going to unlock, put in your password, and then you're going to click add. Okay, now you're going to expand this network printer window. You're going to open this up a little bit. So let's expand this window a little bit. What you want is you want IPP. So if you have a Wi-Fi printer like I do, you're going to select IPP, Internet Printing Protocol. And then up in the top where it says enter device URI, you're going to type in where it says IPP, you're going to add colon, // and then the IP address that you got from your router page, 192.168.1.7. Once you type that in, you're going to click forward. Because you already installed the drivers, it's going to come back with this screen here. It's going to have the short name, the human readable description. Now you just need to put anything you want in this location. So I'm going to put upstairs, because that is my upstairs printer. You can put anything you want in there. Leave this alone. Leave those two alone and click apply. You can print a test page. And then it's going to bring up this screen with all of the information relative to your printer. You're going to click OK. And now you can see it's added to your print settings. The little check mark means that it's the default printer for the entire system. Now you see this, it says printer error, but don't pay attention to that. Look below, it says cups waiting for job completed. Test page has been sent to brother for printing and document printed. So it gives you notifications on each step. Now, as you can see, my printer is configured. It did print a test page, and that's all you have to do. Your printer is configured. Now, if you want to print something, and if you want it to print from your browser, for example, you just click on print, and your printer will be there. And that is as easy as it gets. Manjaro makes everything very, very easy. So I hope I spent enough time to go through that with you, and that you have a little bit better understanding of adding a printer within Manjaro. Now the procedure is the same if you're using really any type of Arch distribution, because the only thing that will change is the Manjaro specific information. So in other words, you wouldn't install Manjaro printer, but you would install cups. So everything applies to Arch also, except the Manjaro specific information, which that would be different, of course. But the process that I gave you works in Arch also. So guys, that is it for this video. It is a lot to absorb, so that's the only thing I'm going to cover in this video. I will be doing at least 3 or 4 more episodes. I hope you're enjoying the series, and I do hope you give Manjaro Linux a try. It's really, really terrific, and it can be your daily operating system and handle whatever you need to do on a computer. So guys, thank you for stopping by the channel. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Take care.